It is 11:30 at night, so I'm very tired. I'm going to try make this little random video as quick as possible so I can sleep. I am out of Greece. I'm in Switzerland for work, and I just had some time on my hands and I was scrolling through my laptop through my YouTube channel. I've decided to check out my YouTube tonight. Too much shit happened in my life and I could not put my focus on that, so my YouTube channel became inactive. I keep seeing that one of my videos, which is titled Why I Decided to Move to Greece, it's receiving quite a few views, and I've gotten also a few people commenting asking for me to further explain my experience living in Greece and like the pros and cons. Yeah, so this video is for whoever's interested in that. Every person's experience is going to be different, so yeah, take my experience with a pinch of salt as best as you can. So to start off, if you haven't seen the first video of mine, which is why I decided to move to Greece, I'll put it somewhere so you can go check that one out. I'm just going to give a quick run through. I was born in South Africa, but all of my grandparents were from Greece and they moved to South Africa. I had my parents there, so I'm a third generational Greek that was born in South Africa. I got my citizenship through my grandparents for Greece, and I still hold and obtain my citizenship in South Africa. I grew up and was raised there till I was 8. Then my family and I moved to America for another 8 years. Then we moved back to South Africa, where I just barely finished high school. I was a year out of high school, and then I started working for a hotel company and traveling and working overseas. And then that led me to eventually wanting to change jobs and live in Greece and just change my direction and try something different. My experience comes with this part, is that I moved to Greece when I was 21 years old. I was a baby. I didn't think I was a baby at that time, but I was. And I was very naive. Oh, I'm Greek and all these people are Greek, and Greek people are going to be nice to me because I'm a little Greek that's from South Africa, and they're going to understand why I speak broken Greek, and people are going to try to help me and be accommodating and help out this young girl that's left her country to start a new life in a country where her family is all back in South Africa, like my immediate family. And in Athens I had a couple cousins, a couple aunts, uncles, and my grandparents, who are now unfortunately not alive anymore. They didn't live near where I moved. I decided to rent an Airbnb in an area called Kipseli, and I completely got scammed by the Airbnb that I was staying at there. But because I was a foreigner, I didn't realize that it was a very, very unsafe Airbnb. It was ground level, it was dirty and gross and old, and there's just a lot of scams and people doing you in when you're coming into a city like Athens or even Thessaloniki, and you're not really aware of your surroundings and you don't really have enough people guiding you. And bearing in mind, I also thought that I knew better. I thought that I didn't need to ask for advice. So I was on this high of starting my new life. I'd saved up money, and I didn't feel the need to ask the family that I did have in Athens for much advice. Even though they'd try to ask me how things were, I felt I didn't need to stress anybody out and that I was going to figure out everything on my own. And that came at a bit of a cost, because I was in a couple of situations where I got scammed for money. I got used by bloody taxi drivers, never giving me my money back because they were taking different routes, and then they'd stop me in the middle of busy roads where I had to jump out very quick, and they'd give me a handful of cash. When I'd close the door, I wouldn't have enough time to even check the amount of money that they've given me back, and they would never give me receipts either. What it meant to request for an apothexy. My Greek was very basic. My vocabulary was very limited because I only spoke Greek as my second language as a child, and the older I got, like, we just stopped going to Greek school, and we predominantly spoke English with my parents, so we didn't maintain a high vocabulary in Greek and grammar. So yeah, I'd get out the taxi and see that, say he was supposed to give me, say I gave him like a 50 euro and my change was supposed to be, I don't know, 15 euros or 25 euros. He'd cut me short by like 10 euros. But like they always usually give coins, even if it's like in a high amount, so that they can throw a bunch of coins in your hands and you get out of the taxi, and by the time they drive off and you check what they've given you back, they've cut you like 10, 15 euros. When you're new into a city and you don't have your own transport, you don't know how the public transport works. Also, if you're going out late at night, you don't want to take public transport. I know for myself, coming from South Africa, I was always on high security alert, because in South Africa you don't really walk on the roads alone, even in the daytime. Even if it's like a public space, you just don't feel comfortable walking anywhere alone as a female in South Africa. So I was always a little bit nervous in the night times, and I just felt like, because I moved to Greece, I thought in the beginning, wow, I can just trust the city because it's a European city. But Athens has its corruptions. Athens has its darkness, and in the last couple of years, it's actually gotten even worse. I'm not saying I regret any of my decisions, because I've got an amazing partner. We live north of Greece, lots of nature, it's super safe. And if I hadn't done that change in my life, if I hadn't made those decisions and those bold, brave changes as a youngster, it wouldn't have led me to him and the 4 animals that we've managed to rescue and house and love. So I don't regret any of it. I just think if I could go back in time, I wish I was a little bit smarter. Well, I guess for me, leaving South Africa, which is a very dangerous country, and then moving to Europe, I don't like classifying Greece into the European category, because we operate more like a Balkan country, with our government and the city's system and everything, and the dysfunction. I thought making that transition, like, I would be fine and I wouldn't have the same fears to worry about and the obstacles. And actually it was harder. I was able to navigate myself better as a youngster in South Africa, because 1, English was my mother language. 2, I could read South Africans like I could read the back of my hand. And for example, I understood the culture, I understood the language, I understood the people. It was my country, my people. Same thing if I had to go back and move into America. I spent 8 years of my childhood years living in America, so I could understand the Americans better, but I had never lived in Greece, so I didn't know how the Greek people were. I distinguished Greek people like the Greek people that are in South Africa. So I went into Athens thinking that Greeks are just going to be very accommodating and nice, and that's just not the case. And because I moved to Greece and I started working there, I started working on the yachts as a stewardess, which, working for wealthy Greek people in the hospitality industry was very, very difficult, because Greek bosses, a majority of them, believe that if they're paying you, they own you. So if they're giving you a job, then you are theirs at your dispense. And I don't mean that in a inappropriate way. I mean in an abusive way, where they will overwork you, they will underpay you, they will shout at you, they will scream at you, they will swear at you, they just don't do things legally like they should in a working environment that's supposed to be professional. I was highly disappointed. It was a struggle. For the first 2 years of living there, went through many episodes of anxiety and depression, wondering if I should just go back to my country and do what I really want to do, which was work with wildlife and conservation and nature. And before making that decision to go to Greece, I was this close to booking a flight to Botswana for a volunteer program where I was going to work for an entire year at a conservation center. I chose not to do that. I chose to go work and move to a different country and try something completely different. Again, don't regret anything, but it's just weird when you think of how you could have had such an easy and happy decision that would have fulfilled your soul a lot more than the 2 years that I don't want to say I wasted it, but I put myself under unnecessary unhappiness and stress. But again, as I said, it led me to my amazing partner that I'm with, my animals, my cozy little home life, and I've grown a lot from it. I think I needed to grow as a person. I think I was very naive, and it's okay. It's, when you're 21, how wise are you supposed to be? And I was quite responsible and wise for my age, considering that I did move to a country at 21 alone to start working, renting everything. But within my relationships with people and navigating my way through a society that I wasn't a part of, I didn't know how the society operated, it was very difficult. It was very challenging. So then it came to the whole other part of where you decide to live in Athens or in Greece makes a huge difference. If you decide to move in the city and you want a specific type of experience living in a specific zone or this specific area of a city, it's kind of like wanting to go and live in New York. You've got Manhattan, you've got, I don't even know all the places. You've got Harlem, you've got Brooklyn, you've got Queens. There's so many different areas of a city that accommodate different people's needs. I didn't know that. I thought, oh, anywhere I live in Greece will be great. My experience with my 2 original places where I lived, I did not feel safe with the homes that I chose for a youngster that is new to a city. I didn't proof check the homes for security, safety. Did they have safety on their windows, correct locks on their balcony doors? And like the main doors in these apartments that I rented, they were like a cheap bedroom door. There was just like a small tiny little key to lock them, and with one click someone could come in, and I was sleeping in those places alone. So the first one was in Kypseli, that specific apartment on ground level with shit security, and it was a very old building, and I was alone and I didn't have anyone with me. I would never do that. Then I moved to Piraeus and Marinazea at the port. Again, I chose a beautiful area if you want to be a little bit more around a marina and a busy city life, but I chose a very bad apartment, ground level. When it rained, all the dirt of the street would just fall into my entire living. Oh, it was terrible. My entire living room would flood. Get this much of level of ground, street, sidewalk, garbage, dirty, mucky water coming into my home. And I tried to speak to the landlord to ask her to fix it. She was a very difficult character. You'll go to an agent in Greece, a home agent, and they won't tell you the truth. They won't tell you if the home is insulated. They won't tell you if there's problems with the neighbors. They won't tell you if it has flooding problems or cockroach problems or anything that you would need to worry about as a home renter, as a tenant moving into a place. They just want to get rid of whatever properties they have to make a commission. So they are going to sell it like it's gold. And they don't care if you're a young person or a foreigner that's new to a city. And instead of them being honest and saying, hey, look, it's got all of these, oh, this area is like this, I don't recommend you staying in an area. I lost a lot of respect for home agents in Greece, and that leaves you to another obstacle, because then you have to be your own agent searching for homes. Even if you find a home to rent with an agent, you have to literally ask for all the nitty-gritties. You have to check the contract, which sometimes means jack shit, but you have to make sure that if anything happens to the home that's not your responsibility, they're supposed to be responsible for it. There was the trash dumpsters right in front of my bedroom window. There was just a sidewalk separating the dumpster from my bedroom window. God, I can't believe I lived in such a terrible place. And in Greece, the people that work for the municipality for garbage control, let's just say that, those people get underpaid just like almost every other person in Greece. And they frequently go on strikes, and rightfully so. They need to strike for their human rights, and they are literally picking up the city's garbage and getting underpaid as if their work means nothing. But obviously when they go on strikes, that can last anywhere up to a couple of days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. In this case, the garbage was left for over a month. Now in Greece, especially in the cities, you cannot throw toilet paper down the toilet. You have to throw it in a little bin on the side of your toilet. So in this case, they were on strike for an entire month, and all of those trash bin from every single household family's toilets was piling up, and there was trash just everywhere. And that's feces and rotting food and baby diapers and you name it, any garbage disposal that humans have in their home, plus everyone's toilet, which is emptied almost every day. It was so bad that I couldn't stay at home. My bedroom smelled like a sewerage. Black bugs were starting to go in the home. There was no form of fresh air. I felt that if I was going to stay there, I was going to get sick. So I went and stayed somewhere else for a while, and I said, okay, I definitely need to find another apartment. Found another apartment which was a lot nicer. It was in a lot better of an area. I moved to Anoglifada. It was very, very comfortable and nice, but again, I had a very difficult landlord who was trying to scam me into fixing things around the home that I would have had to been responsible to pay for, and it was not mine to pay for because I had just moved in there. So I've had a lot of challenges in Greece, but the good side of the experience of living in Greece, despite the difficulty with crisis causing people to hate on you if you've got a job, hate on you if you've, got something good going on for you, and just trying to use you, especially if you're a foreigner. Like another example, I saved up money and I bought a car. I bought a very nice car for myself. It was my first car I ever bought. And instead of people being happy for me, even like distant family members that I had in Athens, they couldn't congratulate me, and people hated me for it because I don't know why. I worked hard to get myself, and it was a second-hand car. My car's from 2006. I got my car when she was a 12-year-old car, so it wasn't a brand new car, nothing. It just was a very well-maintained car. And my point to this is that people will not have joy for you in a country that has so much financial strain on most of the population and the civilization there. And there's a small minority of people in Greece that have good jobs, they live well, they survive comfortably. And there's a mass amount of people that are counting their coins to pay off their electricity. They can't even afford to put heating in their homes in winter. So Greece is a very, very difficult place to live if you want opportunities, unless you have a lot of savings and you can buy a property under your name where you don't have to worry about paying rent. Hopefully you can install solar power to save yourself on the immense amount of electricity that we have to pay for, because a majority of the electricity costs are tax. Fuel's gone up, taxes are high, food prices are going up, water is fine for now, but we're lucky our mountains at least give us water. That's something in South Africa, in Cape Town, we don't have a privilege for. There's always water shortages. If you're watching this, interested to visit Greece, definitely visit. We've got beautiful islands, and to visit Greece is incredible for a holiday. Always just be mindful of if a taxi driver or certain people are trying to take advantage of you, even in the shops, especially if they see that you're a foreigner, they might just play around with the prices. So be very aware of that. But if you're deciding to move to Greece, don't not move to Greece based on the negative things that I've shared with you, because like I said, there's a lot of positives. Besides all of my negative things that I've been through, let me just point out a couple of the beautiful experiences and the positive parts of Greece that I do love. When Greeks are happy, especially summertime and people are making money, Greece comes alive. And summer is beautiful. There's so much to do. There's so many places to go, so many places to see, so many islands to explore. I haven't even been to a fraction of the islands that we have. To properly explore, you need time, you obviously need money. There's so much unique beauty, and everywhere you go is different. It's not like going to where I lived in Arizona, in America, where you go to one part of a city or suburb of Arizona and you go to another one and they look pretty much the same. Each different area has their own type of tradition or unique aspect to them. The food is incredible, the nature is very, very beautiful, although I would hope that one day Greeks become more mindful for their environment, because you'll see a lot of waste and pollution. As I said, I think it's all got to do with the municipality itself in each area not controlling their finances well. I mean, we've got such high tax paying off this massive debt that Greece has, and the city is just not maintained. Things in Greece are crumbling, and it's not like a beautiful crumbling like the Acropolis, which with age it ages gracefully and it just gets more and more beautiful over time the more ruined it looks. Athens is a very ugly city, and I mean that. Apart from the old historical sites, looks like crap. The way they built a majority of the homes was out of cheap material. Things are falling apart, the roads are dirty, and in all honesty, if you're gonna move to Greece and you want to live somewhere peaceful and comfortable and beautiful on a low budget, get out of Athens center city. If you want to experience city life in Athens, don't expect beauty everywhere. You're going to see a lot of graffiti, you're going to see a lot of stray cats. Feed them if you can. Like if you're going out for dinner, don't send your meat and your chicken and your fish back to the waiters. Always put it in a doggy bag and just leave it on the side of the road for a little kitty to help feed them. If you want to take a cat back with you to your country, or adopt one if you decide to move into Greece, that'd be great. It's a beautiful country and it does have a lot of its problems, and my heart really hurts for one, the older people that are with their retirement, that have seen their beautiful country collapse financially, and they have had a lot of financial challenges in their old aged years, and they've seen their kids and their grandkids all get affected by this broken chain cycle. And then of course the endless youth that is leaving Greece, all the best doctors, lawyers, artists and designers and architects and engineers and scientists, and a lot of our strong workers, people that have studied and held a lot of opportunity to grow the country, they are going to find work in places like the UK, Germany, America, Australia. On that part, it's really sad because on one hand, the country needs to progress, but the working class, the youth, the working class in their 20s, 30s and 40s, majority of them have started to leave, and many Greeks have left. And if you ask most of the Greeks that have left, do they miss Greece? They will tell you exactly what I've told you. They miss the beautiful side of it, which is the village life and the islands and the food. And what they don't miss is the financial strain to it, which leads me to why I am here making this video. And I'm not in Greece, I'm in Switzerland, Geneva, like I said. I get often asked, well, I moved to Greece, I live there, but why don't I work in Greece? First of all, as a foreigner, I think I would struggle immensely. I tried to work on Greek yachts when I was living in Greece, and one, the biggest challenge was my language, speaking to the guests and the owners, and two was the system of being put into the tax system, where you're getting your salary, which is already so much more underpaid than what you get outside of Greece for the works and the opportunities and the job that you're doing, and then on top of that they just tax you. A large quantity of your salary is just going to tax, and it's just very crippling, especially if you're a youngster that has to live alone and pay your own bills. And no, I didn't come from a trust fund. I didn't ask mommy and daddy for help at all, ever. I never received financial help from my parents to have my lifestyle and pay my bills, nothing. So I had to do it all on my own. And I know that I could have always gone to them, but it's not like I'm a trust fund baby that had a bunch of money saved up from my parents to just go on this new adventure. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I was saying. Should I just end the video and check what I was saying? Everything's gone blank. I remembered now. I was saying about why I don't work in Greece. So that's why I don't work in Greece, and I try get work, small stints of work overseas. It's quick money, it's better salaries, and I'd rather get quick money overseas than sit working an entire year, not having a life, for 500 euros a month. I'd rather work a little bit and then come home and stretch my money out. Unless you've got a company or business as a foreigner, knowing that it's going to thrive, we've got a lot of savings, and you can go and move there and start whatever you want to start and do whatever you want to do, then you'll be fine. But for someone like me who cannot speak Greek 100%, to try get a job that's going to pay me more than 500 euros a month is very difficult, especially because I'm not qualified in anything except for hospitality, and hospitality is one of the most underpaying jobs in Greece. To work at restaurants, to work at bars, to work at hotels. So that was not an option for me. But yes, if you are a foreigner and you can bring a stream of income from outside, the more the merrier. If you can start your own business and thrive and know that you'll do fine, especially if it's in tourism. The tourism industry is the heart anchor of income for Greece, but it is also the most destructive for Greece. What I mean by that is that a place like Santorini and Mykonos, yes, they have their beauty, yes, there's some exciting things to go do and see to those places, and all the tourists that come and explore Greece, it has become so concentrated that they may be bringing money into the country, but there's a lot of ecological destruction that comes with that. There's just a lot of pollution, there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of mass amount of consumption. So if you're going to go in the tourism industry, try to think of something that's more like eco-friendly. For example, there is a hotel that is opened up in Santorini. It's a completely vegan, eco-friendly hotel. So I'm sure they're going to do very well because Santorini has millions of tourists going there each year. There's a high possibility that a lot of those tourists are either vegan, vegetarian, or interested in eco-friendly places to stay. So yeah. Anyways, to whoever watched this, good luck if you do want to move to Greece. I wouldn't say don't do it. I would just say make sure financially you have a plan. Make sure that if you're leaving the country that you're in, wanting to go to Greece, try just get a bit of a savings. Do not come to Greece without savings, unless you've got family to stay with and you don't have to worry so much. Different story. But if you don't have savings and if you don't have family to help you in Greece, please don't think that you're going to come to Greece and find a job like you would here in Switzerland and get paid well and be able to survive. It would definitely be a challenge financially, as well as finding, like I said, a decent accommodation that doesn't have walls falling around you and leaking pipes and cockroaches and the smell of sewerage and. You don't want to be resorted to coming to a country where you're working for 500 euros a month and the only thing that you can afford in Athens is 100 euros basement on ground level that has no light coming in. As I said, stinks, smells like sewage. The paint on the wall is brown yellow.